Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Welcome back. This is Ask the Cheeseman. Episode 282. Like my shirt? Kim bought it for me. Very nice. It's great to see so many people in the chat. Very lively this morning before we started the show. That's what I like about starting early. It's very, very cool having a chat to all of you people. It's so good. What am I saying? What's next on the script? Thank you to all of the YouTube members, especially Patricia and Robin at Spice Packs. Thank you for renewing your YouTube membership. And thank you to all of the patrons who also support the show financially. Without your financial support, the show wouldn't go on. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it. And so does Kim. And Kim says g'day, by the way, for those who are watching. Kim's my better half. She's looking after the doggos at the moment, who are a little bit feisty this morning, so they couldn't come in here. But yeah, all very cool. videos that are coming up, you would have seen cottage cheese, or the secret to making perfect cottage cheese. I went full YouTuber on the thumbnail and the title. Kim gave me a bit of help, so did, who was it? It was the AI. AI, apparently. That's a big thing. So I used Google's AI to come up with the title, the catchiest one. And what I did, for this video especially, was I surveyed the audience, as you do. So I did that on the community post, which you can see on the community tab on desktop, and it's in your feed on your app, on your phone, your YouTube app. And I got some great feedback on which one I should choose, and it seems to be going very well. It's #1 out of the last 10 videos. And yeah, the cottage cheese is doing great. So, other videos coming up. I'm currently editing chili halloumi. I thought I needed a little bit more excitement for halloumi, so added some chili to it, and my goodness, it tasted amazing. But I'll leave that to the video. Also, some more chili cheese. It's a bit of a thing going on here. I made some Cotswold with all the normal goodies like onion flakes and dried chives and some garlic powder, and added some chili into it as well. So that worked really well. I'm waiting for tomorrow is when the Red Leicester is ready, so that should be, I'll be filming that this week as well. Red Leicester taste test, and the Stilton taste test will be coming up very soon as well, so that'll be good fun. Now, don't forget that all those videos coming out, sometimes you don't get notified by YouTube. So there is a special way now that I've created so that you'll get notified if you sign up to the, where is it? The Curd Nerd newsletter over at Little Green Workshops. And I've beefed up the sign up page. So I've managed to put all of the previous editions, even though it's kind of a little bit out of order. I started at #1, but there were 3 before it. There are currently 1,328 subscribers to the Curd Nerd newsletter, so that's cool. And what you'll get is notification of new videos. You'll also get special offers and well, narrative, cheese making narrative. So I'll just copy that and put that into the chat, so you can see what the heck is, what's going on with this mouse. Goodness me, here we go. So there's the link to the Curd Nerd newsletter. Go and check that out. And lots of people signed up yesterday. I did a little bit of a promo on it. So, and don't forget courses. You can go and check out all the cheese making courses that we have over at the Curd Nerd Academy, courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Right, enough with the plugs. On with the show. Big g'day. Let's say g'day to lots of people. First person was Shauna. Welcome, Shauna. G'day, Valerie. Oh, and Shauna and Nev as well. G'day, Nev. How are you, mate? Valerie. G'day, Valerie. And Persnickety. Hello, Michael. And Heidi. Hello, Heidi. Sandra and Patricia. And who else have we got? Molly. G'day, Molly. Thanks for the photos for the gallery, which will be at 30 minutes past the hour. So watch for that. Reality is, how are you, mate? Nolan, Fun Pants. I'll get to your question. I think you got a question there somewhere. We'll get to that. Who else we got? Cool Cat and Jeanette. Hello, Jeanette. Kobe, g'day, mate. So, yeah, you watch the replay later. Michael and Jenny and Nina and Anthony and Tracy. Hello, Tracy at Cheese Needs. Runs a fellow cheese-making shop over at, am I going to get this right? Prince George in, where is it? British Columbia, Canada. There you go. Prince George? Hopefully that's right. I know it's got a George in it. Anyway, who else we got? Junkus, B. Anna. Hello, Anna. First time on the stream. Titus, of course. And did I miss anybody? Daniel. Hello, Daniel. And Nawab. How are you? And Miss Spinner. There we go. That's everybody. Welcome back. And if you've got a question for me to answer, just put 3 Qs in front of it in the chat so we can check that out. And I'll be able to see it a lot better because there's a lot of stuff going on in the stream. It is very cold here. I think it's about 8 degrees, 6 degrees now, but yeah. And Persnickety has a testing. There you go. Internet's a little bit slow. I don't know what's going on there. Thank you for the $10 for the super chat. Very cool. And testing the blinkies. Yeah, it works. It works. Technology is amazing. See, I didn't have to touch anything then. It just did it. So very cool. And good morning to you too, CL. Great to see you in the country Victoria, if I remember rightly. Hopefully my memory is working okay today. Now, we do have a question. What the heck is it? Added some Q's in front of it too and everything. Here it is. Funpants94 says, do the same rules apply to goat's milk as cow's milk when it comes to making cheese? Goat's milk has a lot more fat than cow's milk. Now, most of the time you're using, a lot of people have their own goats, a lot. And there is a rule of thumb that you use. Hang on, where is it? Where's the special book so I can remember it rightly? Just referring to 200 Easy Homemade Cheeses by Deborah Amron Boys, where she does talk about the difference of goat's milk to cow's milk. And let me just pull that up. I've got it here somewhere. It's not in Troubleshooting, it's in goats. Milk, types of milk. Sorry, I'll find it. It's here somewhere. Right, here we go. Goat's milk. I'll read the passage out. Hopefully she won't mind. It says, you can easily substitute one kind of milk for another, keeping the following in mind. Goat's milk has a lower pH, that is, it is more acidic than cow's milk. You will need to reduce the amount of rennet, a milk coagulating enzyme that favours an acidic environment in order to coagulate the milk. So you reduce it by 15 to 25%. For instance, if a recipe calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon, which is 3.75 millilitres of rennet, just use slightly more than half a teaspoon, which is 2.5 millilitres of rennet. Conversely, use 15 to 25% more rennet in a recipe calling for goat's milk, in which you wish to substitute cow's milk. Now remember that goat's milk has finer fat particles than cow's milk, so it will the cream doesn't float to the top, so that you don't need to stir as much as well, as in stir the cream back in. You'll see me doing that quite a bit in videos. So yeah, it's a great milk, and you'll see that when you do use goat's milk compared to cow's milk, it's really white because there's a lot less beta carotene in the goat's milk than there is in cow's milk. So there you go. That's how you do it. Alrighty. Now that we've done that, another question here. Shauna says, what could cause a cheese to split in a vacuum packing bag? It is a tom, naturally aged for 6 weeks until there are too many molds, then vac packed. Looks like it's splitting. So what could be going on there, as in, is it swelling enough to split? Sounds like that the curds are too moist, and then what has happened is that the the rind has developed too quickly. Pardon me. And for some reason, there may be you may be using a gas producing culture, and that could be creating gas enough to split for the center to swell and the rind to split. That's what it sounds like. Without looking at any photos or anything, Shauna, we can have a conversation offline. Send me an email if we want to troubleshoot any further than that. But that would be interesting to have a look at. But that's what I think could be happening. So anyway, hope that helps. Michael says, would it be okay to use MO36 mesophilic, which is an aromatic mesophilic, instead of MO30 to make your Persian feta? So the Persian feta is a marinated cheese. So yeah, I think that'll be okay. You won't get the sharpness that you would normally get because it has MO36, which is very similar to Floridanica, if you've used that before, Michael. It produces a buttery and creamy texture in the final cheese. So it'll be more like, they sell Danish feta here in Australia, which is a really creamy, it's not real feta. Not like the Greek one, which is crumbly and sharp. The Danish white cheese is also made with an aromatic mesophilic, and that is more creamier in texture, as you've probably tried in the supermarket. If you do use that culture, it'll be creamy and buttery, more like Danish feta. And yeah, that'll work, but it won't taste the same. Nawab says, for making a 2.2 kilogram chowder, I double all the ingredients and mold. Should I double the press pressure too? Yes, if you obviously, if you're using more ingredients, you're going to use a bigger mold. So the bigger the mold, the more pressure you need more physical pressure, pounds per square inch, on top of the pressing plate. So yes, that is the case. Shauna says, thank you, I'll send a photo this week. That'll be great, and we can talk about it in the next gallery, Shauna. That'd be great. But I'll reply during the week. Persnickety has an alternative take on the pressing. He says, I keep the pressure the same even on 3 kilogram rounds. The main issue will be the brine bath, which you'll need to leave it a lot longer. Which is true, totally true. Chowder is not a cheese that needs to be pressed at a very heavy pressure for it to form. So you don't need as much pressure as, say, cheddar, for instance. So, okay. Titus, the bigger the burger, the bigger the bun. Indeed. Yeah, that it's... Oops. Paul, hello, Paul. Welcome to the stream. Yesterday was cheese flipping day, and I was reminded that I still have 3 pounds or 1.5 kilos of Romano that has been aging for 2 years. I think continuing to age is best. Advice? ? Thanks, Gavin. 310 looks great. 310,000 looks great. Yeah, cheers, mate. So, firstly, I'll answer your question. So, up to you. It's your Romano. You do what you want to do with it. It will taste amazing at 2 years. But yeah, you can continue to eat it. Why don't you cut a bit off, savour the pleasure of the aged Romano, and then vacuum pack it and, save some more for later. Let it age at 13 degrees Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit for a bit longer, and then go and try it. Because that's what I do with some of my cheeses. So I'll always, depending on the cheese, most of the time, I'll cut the cheese in half, take the 2/4 from one half, and they're the ones to eat straight away. And the other half I'll vacuum pack and I'll put it back into the cheese cave for prosperity. And maybe another video on really old cheeses or something like that. So, Yeah, very cool. And talking about 310,000, it's taking. I'm not complaining. It's just to get another 1,000 viewers on the channel. It seems to be taking more work than it normally would be. Whether people are YouTube's not serving up the videos or what have you, which is why I went crazy on the thumbnail for the cottage cheese video. Yeah, progress is slow. About 1,000 a month, which I suppose I can't complain. It's just great to have so many people in the world watching cheese making videos. They're calming, they're relaxing. It's very good. I enjoy it. Alrighty. Oh, and there's a super chat as well from Paul. Thank you very much, Paul, for the $20. Thanks, Gavin. We all appreciate you. No, I appreciate you guys. You know, I was thinking before the show started, I was thinking that, and I was having a really good smile to myself, like I am now, that, you know, Sunday mornings is get-together time with the gang. All the Curd nerds. It's just so much fun spending time with the Curd nerd community that we've all built here together. It's not just me. If you guys didn't interact in the chat and ask the questions and all that sort of stuff, you know, it wouldn't be fun. It'd be a struggle, but it really is great fun to have all of you watching and interacting, and it's great because, you know, because of Kim's ailments and stuff, we don't get out very much. So I find this is a bit of a social, my social interactive time. So yeah, it's good fun. So thanks very much. I'm going to cry in a minute. It's great. All right, thank you. Jeanette says, I share your videos on Facebook, hoping to snag you some more followers. Thank you, Jeanette. Really appreciate it. Patricia says, you need another influencer to draw the world's attention again, like what happened with the Parmesan video. Yeah, I do, probably. So that is a good observation. Thank you, Patricia. And the Curd nerd light's gone off again. This time it's Tracy from cheeseneeds.com. Tracy says, we feel the same way, same about chat too, Gav. Makes my Sunday afternoon. Thank you, Tracy. I'm tearing up now. Stop it. This old bloke just loves all the interaction. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Anthony says, we knit this community together like coagulated Curd nerds. Nice. Yes, I do. And Patricia also says, we knit together better than many of my cheeses. Indeed. And what gets me, thanks, Patricia, for that comment. What gets me is that a lot of streams that I see, the chat is so rapid that you just can't keep up with it, and it's just all full of rubbish. So I don't know, the way we've curated the community, it's just lively, fun, and easy to interact with, if that makes sense. Sorry. Shauna says, I agree. I don't get up at stupid o'clock on Sunday morning just for anyone. Thanks, Shauna. Appreciate it. And I'm sure Nev doesn't either. Liz says, happy to be part of the Curd Nerd support network. It works both ways, Gav. Thank you, Liz. Appreciate it. And it's great that we got so many people from all over the world. That's what gets me. You know, not only just, you know, the bigger YouTube sort audience from the US, but we've got US, Canada, New Zealand, anywhere that can understand my Aussie accent, I think we've got viewers from. So it's absolutely fantastic. Europe, so all the European countries tune in. I don't know how many are here. I think Fun Pants is in the Netherlands, if I remember rightly. Watching, a bit late for you, but yeah. It is always good fun. Heidi says, I missed this. What happened with the Parmesan video? It was the meme. Can I bring that up? Did I blank it out somewhere? Where the heck is it? I won't go searching for it. There was a meme, Heidi, around angry Italians swearing at my Parmesan video. Happened in March 2020, just as the pandemic hit, and it made the channel viewership and subscribers go absolutely berserk. So yeah, it really helped. And the cease and desist also helped. So in their wisdom of sending me a legal letter to to take down the Grana Padana video that I made, that also sparked a bit of controversy in the world of YouTube and Reddit. Reddit seemed to go absolutely berserk or bonkers and supported the channel. So, and other YouTubers, legal YouTubers, actually made videos about it. It was so good. So cool. Goodness me, Ruth, you're back. So good. Thank you so much, Ruth, for the $20. Not sure if my greeting went through. Sending love. Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate it. I really do. I must have missed it, unless it's there somewhere. But thank you so much, Ruth, for the $20 and the love, of course. Nina says, you're still Ton, our favourite. Oh, my goodness. There you go. There's a rim shot for you. Nawab says, Iran here. There you go, Nawab. Fun Pants is in southern US. Sorry, Mo, I must have got you confused with somebody else. There are so many people from the Netherlands that watch as well. Herb says, Grana Padana. Yes, that was the one. Well, there were two major turning points from the channel. Actually, three, when we think about it. And it's nearly time for the gallery, but we've got time to talk about this. So the very first one, the channel was very slow as far as the graph. That's the wrong way for you. But yeah, the graph going up like that as far as views and subscribers. Very slow progress until I hit about 10,000 subscribers. God, it seems so long ago. I bit the bullet. I was scared of making cheddar. Don't ask me why. I was scared of the cheddaring process. A bit like everybody's got their cheese that they're hesitant to make. Not frightened, but hesitant, right? Mine was cheddar. So I made the cheddar video where I cloth banded the cheddar and went full Monty on the cheddar. And that video just went crazy. That was my first hit cheese video, even though I reckon all the rest were hits too, but it was filmed no differently than anything else. But people seem to search for the word cheddar, being the number one cheese in the world for people eating it. Number two being mozzarella. Cheddar was the first massive hit. Parmesan video was, and the meme that it was associated with it was another hit. The Parmesan video was 4 years old before the meme actually hit it. So, even old videos that I've produced, old cheese making videos, sometimes get bumped up the charts, which is really good. That's the great thing about YouTube is the videos can sit in the archive, bubbling away, and all of a sudden one boils over and it just goes crazy. So it's good. Titus says, I wanted to invite the Swiss to Ask the Cheeseman, but I don't yodel. Oh, that's crazy. Persnickety says, really need a spare place for European cheese. Roquefort can be rather pervasive, and I don't want to bleach my kitchen every time. Indeed, and Roquefort is one cheese that I think people would appreciate as well, which I haven't made yet, is because I haven't been able to get my hands on any sheep's milk. So, Graham, if you're watching up at Saltbush Arcadia, Saltbush Lambs, if you've got any more sheep's milk, I would love, or use milk, of course. I would love to get my hands on some more, please, and make some Roquefort. Some Roquefort with used milk. Because that's the only real way that you can make it and get the flavour that it deserves. So, Funpants says, I just made my first cheese and desist cheese last week, hoping to hold out for a year or two. It's well worth it. It was a really good cheese. It didn't have the full robustness of, say, Parmigiano Reggiano, and I found that to be true with the real deal as well. Remember when I did the Cheese a Day challenge in February, where I tried some authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, and then a few days later I tried the Grana Padano. So the Parmigiano Reggiano, better flavour, stronger. The Grana Padano, a milder flavour. Still had a nice flavour, but it had a milder flavour. So, Jeanette said, and this Gizmodo article, an Aussie YouTuber was accused of making counterfeit cheese by Italian cheesemakers. Yeah, there was a whole lot of press around that, Jeanette. I actually got interviewed about 3 times by online article, via email. So they sent me a whole bunch of questions. And I thought, why not? Follow it up. Make cheese famous. Make cheese making in your own home famous. So, yeah, that helped as well. So the press jumped all over that. Maybe I should have held off on the second video, which is Big Cheese Apologises, for a few days to let the juices simmer a bit. But I was just so pleased that they apologised for accusing me as a counterfeiter. Yeah, it's I had to get it out there because, as you do. Anyway, very cool. Heidi says, holy cow, that Parmesan video has 15,989 comments. Yeah, it's one of the big ones. And I think it's nearly 3 million views. So, yeah, a lot of people love the Parmesan. And just go and read some of the comments, Heidi. It'll make you giggle for hours on end. It does me. If I want a good laugh, I just go and read the comments of the Parmesan video. There's a lot of hate in there sometimes. Not nasty, but, me, it's just people jumping on the bandwagon saying this is not Parmigiano Reggiano, which, is silly because if they watch the first 5 minutes of the video, I actually state that it's not. So, anyway, people comment before they even watch the video, so that's how it is. All right, that's the reminder for the gallery. And time for the gallery. Let's just pop off Heidi's comment there and we'll get the gallery up. See if I can get all this to work today. Goodness me, what have I done? Where's my mouse? Gallery, here we go. So, gallery today is brought to you by you, the Curd Nerds, sending in photos. And the first photo today is from Michael and Jenny. And Michael and Jenny say, hi Gavin, we made your triple cream cheese. It was delicious, creamy and Moorish. Moorish is the word we use here in Australia for something that you can't stop eating. I don't know if that's the same throughout the world, but Moorish, M-O-O-R-I-S-H, Moorish. And we took the last one away with us to Clare, which is a town in Adelaide, in South Australia, and shared it with friends with a wine and cheese afternoon. Thanks again for all your help and advice, Michael and Jenny. So let's have a look at these bad boys. Let's look in the middle. Very nice indeed, very smooth. I love the white coating is perfect. The mould on the outside, I think there's a better shot. There it is. Right, so more light. So you can see the paste on the outside. Here we go. Super creamy and a little bit of chalky. Well, it's not chalky. It's just a different consistency because it ripens from the outside in. As you can see, this is the outside, ripens in. Not too gooey, very creamy. Oops, can we look at that a bit better? Yeah, there we go. So all around the cheese, so delicious. Now, I found that when I matured mine a bit longer, even longer than the 14 days was lovely when I first tried it. Then I let it go for 8 weeks just to see what happened, because I had one left, 2 left, sorry. I gave one away. And yeah, that creaminess was all the way through. So just like that outside inch or 2.5 centimeters you've got there, Michael and Jenny, it was all the way through. And I'll tell you what, it was a delight. It was just absolutely fantastic. But well done that you've cracked it. Very good looking cheese indeed. Okay, the next one, this is from Molly. Let's have a look what Molly has to say. Says, hi Gavin, after last week's show, I thought I maybe check the cheese cave, since it's been a while since I checked it out. I only had 2 cheeses in there at the time, a Parmesan and an Asiago, which were over 6 months old and waxed. So I was basically just letting them do their thing. My fridge is still working fine. Temperature was good, but I noticed it appeared that something was growing on the bottom of the Asiago. I pulled out the board to take a closer look after I could not remove the Asiago. It seemed glued down. After a little tugging, the cheese came off the board minus the end of the wax. Picture number 1, which is this one. Can we scroll in? So, is that the bottom? Something, there we go. Something stuck to the bottom there. Let's have a look. Is there another photo? Oh, the wax is stuck to the pine board. My goodness. So we've had a leakage and some whey has seeped out. Anyway, I'll keep going. I am not sure what was growing there, but it wasn't on the cheese. The surface of the cheese was a little moist, and I'm not sure what or where the sticky sap-like substance came from. My cheese board is cut out of a board my grandfather used to make crude bookcases some 20 years ago. As you can see from picture number 2, the wax really was stuck to the board. Picture 3 shows the wax the cheese that the wax ripped off. All right, let's have a look at that. That looks all right. Yeah, so a little bit of seepage, a little bit of moisture there. So what's happened, Molly, is that the cheese has, the wax has had a little crack in it. A bit of the whey has seeped out and it's soaked into the board, and as it's dried, it's become very sticky. This does happen, and that it stuck the wax to the bottom of the board. Pine boards are usually used for natural rind cheeses, and they don't have this problem because the boards are actually moist most of the time, and it helps promote the native flora on the outside of the cheese. So, you know, things like Tom and other cheeses that are natural age ripened and have a mold coating around the outside that they wipe off, you know, every week. Pine boards are normally used for that. I've never come across too many issues using pine boards. I'd sometimes put any cheeses that I don't want any markings on. So when you use a plastic mat or a bamboo mat like I do and just put it onto the rack of the fridge to get a flat surface, sometimes, depends on how soft the cheese is, it'll get little ripples on it. It's only visual, it's no big deal. Even through vacuum packing or even through wax, you get these little ripples. No big deal, but it never sticks to it. Don't have any problems. And having those mats being porous, and anything, if it leaked, would go through, wouldn't stick to the mat. Whereas a pine board, you would get that effect, the sticking. If anybody's had any, if this happened to them before, let us know in the chat and see if you think you had a solution as well. Anyway, we'll continue on with Molly's question. It says, I took off all the wax off my cheese, allowed it to age a few days and dry in the cheese cave on a different board, of course. Then I cut it, picture number 4. Oh, here we go. There we go, picture number 4. This pink bit's from the wax, by the way. It tasted it, wax 3/4. It tasted fine, just not as strong as I was going for originally due to the shortened age. Do you have any thoughts on what happened? Yes, well, I've shared those. The cheese looks great. So there's no late blowing. Doesn't look like it. There might be a little bit there, but I think that's okay. If it tastes okay, that's great. So, what was the cheese? Oh, Asiago. Was it Asiago? Yeah, the Asiago was one. So, yeah, you can still age it in the cheese fridge. If you wax the other 3/4, that's fine. Leave it in the cheese fridge. And it will develop further in flavour. Vac packing would do the same, so that would be no issues. Yeah, so that's what happened. There's been a small crack. Whey has seeped out. Stuck it to the board, unfortunately. But yeah, look, it's still good-looking cheese. Don't you worry about that, Molly. All right, Molly's got some other pictures. Says, moving on to a couple of nicer pictures. Picture number 5. This one, I think. This is another salad with cherv that I made. And it's got some lovely blueberries there. It looks like some rocket, maybe, from the garden. Or kale, I'm not sure. Kale's a little bit coarse, but looks lovely. Nice little salad. And I think picture number 6 is an Edam that I made earlier this year. I think it might have started a little late blowing due to the holes. Late blowing typically is a line, a big fissure in the middle. This could be due to these irregular eyes. This could be mechanical. A little bit hard to determine. They don't look shiny. Yeah, I think they might be mechanical, Molly. Otherwise, it's very nice. A slight bitter taste to the cheese. Age it a bit longer, I think. The colour is entirely from raw grass-fed cow's milk that I used. Right, so if you use raw milk for this and didn't pasteurise it at all, that could equate for some of the eyes, a little bit of gas development from the lactobacteria that are in the raw milk. So there you go. So that could be from that as well. But fantastic photos. Thank you for all of them. You know, diagnosing these sorts of problems is always great fun. And it helps everybody else on the in the cheese stream as well. Okay, this is from Phil and Jenny Bell, who became recent customers of Little Green Workshops, which is the shop that Kim and I run and send all these little kits and stuff to everybody. Phil and Jenny said, "Hi, Kim and Gavin. Thanks sincerely for sending out our latest product order so quickly. Your personalised note made us feel very special and will guarantee us as regular customers. Thanks also for your inspirational YouTube videos, which we have watched repeatedly to try to become passable cheesemakers. We caught the habit after amassing surplus milk from the milking of our motley small herd of beautiful, gentle Aussie red house cows. Most dairy culls or culled for reasons that we can't understand. Your instructional videos are outstanding quality, entertaining and informative. We began with small hoops of cheddar, not aged as well as we prefer, without yet having acquired a cheese cave or cheese fridge, and have now graduated to a bel paese with regular batches of ricotta on the way. My goal in life is Jarlsberg, of the quality that you have shown. Thanks again. We look forward to many successes with some failures as we aspire to acquire even a fraction of your expertise. Phil and Jenny Bell." Thank you, Phil and Jenny. And there's your lovely brown Aussie cows. And some of the milk that you've acquired. Look at the cream line. Look how thick that is. That is just the creamiest of milk. So that is going to make some amazing cheese. And there's Phil there with his milking gear on and his milking bucket. And here's the get-up. So he's got a little stall he's made here with his Aussie brown cow and his little milking machine that he's got hooked up there. So he's got a little compressor there that creates the vacuum to suck the milk out. So yeah, very great cool little setup. And I love the wheelbarrow. When I lived on the dairy in Loxton North, which is no longer there when I grew up, we used to have these little buckets. It wasn't a wheelbarrow. It was little buckets that I personally would have to fill when I was a young'un, before I joined the Navy, and had to go and fill all these little buckets up with, what do we call it? It was called chaff, which was just straw that's roughly cut up. And the cows would snack on that to keep them distracted from being milked. So, yeah, great little idea there. But Phil and Jenny, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for the warm praise on the videos and the shop. So it's always great to get that sort of feedback. Okay, so the next one is a bit of a meme that Jeanette found, and Jeanette's in the chat. You know who you are. Jeanette says that well. What I like is, found something new to say when I leave the room. Stay fresh, cheese bags. That just made me laugh so much. I love it. That is so good. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Yeah, good. Nice one. It's like a bit like G'day Curd Nerds, but yeah, very cool. Thanks, Jeanette, for sharing that with me. That's just made me chuckle all over again from the first time I saw it. So, yeah, very good. If anybody else has got any cheese memes, feel free to send them in. I'll show them during the gallery as well. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Thank you for that. I think that was the last one. Yes, it was. Yep. Thanks to one and all who sent in photos for the gallery. If you've got some cheese that you want to share with the Curd Nerd community, then please feel free to do so. How do you do it? Well, it's not a mystery. I will share that with you now. So go to the channel page and go to the About tab just here. And down here on the About tab, it has details for business inquiries, view email address. And it says Australia. That's me. I'm in there in Australia somewhere. So yeah, press the little button there. You have to be logged on to your YouTube account to see it. You can only do this on a browser. You can't do it on the YouTube app on iOS or Android. It won't let you. It'll let you do it on a tablet if you're looking at a browser and a tablet. So yeah, that's how you get the email address. Shoot through your photos to that email address, and I will gladly show them on the gallery every Sunday morning my time. So fantastic. It's 8:44 my time. So let me just get that out of that and see if we've got any more questions. I'm sure we have. If you've got any questions, Shauna says that's gold. Stay fresh cheese bags. Yes, it is gold. Jeanette says you're welcome. I don't know where you got it from, but that was a cool one. And Patricia says cheese bags, lol. Yep, that's a good one. Ms. Spinner says, hi Gav, can you let the curd cure too long before you cut them? Yeah, so the longer that you leave the curds in between ripening and cutting, it's what happens is it's acidifying all the time. So the lactobacteria are creating more lactose. Sorry, the lactobacteria are eating more lactose, causing more acid. So there's more acid in the cheese. You'll also get a firmer curd set, which will then hold more whey in the curds. So that can be an issue with bitterness in longer aged cheeses. So yeah, so stick to the recipe. It's there for a reason. But if you have gone over for whatever reason, then just proceed, see what happens. You could stir the cheese longer than the recipe says if this has happened, to expel a little bit more whey, and that would certainly work. So thanks, Ms. Spinner, for the question. Another question from Abby says, is it okay to use lemon juice instead of rennet? And if so, will it leave a citric taste to the cheese? Coagulation using an acid compared to rennet are two different processes in cheese making. Using lemon juice and vinegar, same thing, I know it's a different type of acid, but it's the same process. The coagulation process is different, and it doesn't bear well for longer aged cheeses. Rennet is used for longer aged cheeses because it's more conducive to the aging or maturing process. You'll never see a lemon juice cheese aged for a long time, and if you do, it will be as bitter as all get out, so it'll be terrible. So you cannot replace lemon juice you cannot replace rennet with lemon juice as a coagulant for, say, something like a cheddar or any of the cheeses that use rennet. So no, it is not. And Molly has backed me up there. Thank you, Molly. No, lemon juice is not a replacement for rennet. Titus says they are nice triple creams. Indeed, Michael and Jenny's triple cream was absolutely beautiful. So I love them. Let me get the crackers. Oh, goodness me. That is just fabulous. Sandra says, when making my Parmesan cheese yesterday, I decided to compare 2 thermometers and discovered there was a 6-degree difference. How can I calibrate? Okay, so the digital thermometers usually have instructions on how to calibrate. The best way to calibrate is, if you're at sea level or close to it, boil some water and make sure that the water hasn't got too many impurities in it. And then that should be about 100 degrees Celsius, and check your temperature on your thermometer. With the dial ones, you know, the dairy thermometers with the dial and the probe, there's a nut on the back, and you can loosen the nut and then spin the dial to the correct reading when you're at 100, right? And that will then calibrate your thermometer, and then tighten the nut back up again on the back. A little bit tricky to do, but you can do it. I've done it before and it works fine. With the digital ones, there's information on how to calibrate those as well. So they'll be in the instructions. I know that on my one it says how to do it. But yeah, boiling water at sea level or whatever altitude you're at, you'll know what temperature water boils at, so you can calibrate it there. So that's how you do it. Persnickety has an alternative one, which is going the cold version. Get a glass of ice water or some ice, and it should read 32 Fahrenheit. If analog, you can... just a nut. There you go. Look, you stole me thunder there. Molly says, the main reason I have a pine board, which was the sticky cheese one, is that I need to add a shelf to my cheese fridge. Okay, cool. Maybe Molly, what you could do is put a bamboo mat on top of the pine board and then put your cheese on that, and then you got a porous surface and it won't stick. If that ever happens again, like I said, I think that's only ever happened to me once, where I've had this oozy, sticky way that absorbs into pine. So it's happened to me once early on in the cheese making process, which is probably why I went to sushi mats or the bamboo mats, or now plastic mats, on top of any boards that I put into the cheese cave. There we go. Yeah, and Patricia says, did you flip your cheese once a week? And the reply was, no, that is probably the problem. After about 6 months, I quit flipping it. There you go. So flipping it, there's a good reason why we flip cheese. Once a week, or once every 2 weeks, but certainly before 6 months. And that's because it helps the cheese, the fats, and even distribution of fats through the cheese. Because if you leave them in one place, the fats tend to rise to the top. This is just because they're lighter than other substances within the cheese, the proteins, and they'll sink to the bottom. And then you'll get some seepage, whey seepage. So that's why we flip the cheese, for even maturation. Okay. Robin says, I feel a little fake tuning in this week. I've just landed a regular gig at a French place and have stopped making cheese, as my rider tends to contain pretty good cheese, so I'll stop making it. That's okay, mate. I haven't made cheese. Well, before I made the cottage cheese. It had been like 2 months since I'd made cheese. I just had enough videos to like film a whole bunch of them in over the span of a week, and then release them, over time. So I'm not making cheese all the time. Don't feel guilty. If you can get your hands on some fantastic artisan cheese, then do so. It's not a crime not to make cheese. Oh, goodness me. Jeanette says, a nice setup for milking, indeed. Phil and Jenny's setup does look pretty cool there. And Sandra says that milk that was in the fridge would make an amazing triple cream cheese. Indeed it would. Christopher. Hello, Christopher. Love to see you in California there. We have another question. This one's from Paul. Says, I have a high quality source for raw cow's milk nearby. I've never pasteurised it and wonder whether I should be concerned about issues. Thanks. Look, if you're ever in doubt of the quality of the milk, or if it's been not chilled immediately, or it's been left to not fester, if it's been left at room temperature or cow temperature for an extended period of time, the lactobacteria will start to act on the lactose, right? Plus, if the teats aren't clean or whatever, for whatever reason, you may, excuse me, I've got to sneeze. Right, 2 sneezes today. For whatever reason, it could be contaminated. You may get some coliform infection. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Paul, but you can get these tiny little sponge-like bubbles and the curd floats occasionally. Depends on the quality of the milk, but if you've never pasteurised it, never had any problems, obviously the milk's nice and clean. Hopefully the dairy tests it before giving it to you and tests it for contamination of bacteria, bad bacteria, because they can do a test, no problems at all. But if you have any doubts, then low temperature long hold, or it's called thermalizing, low temperature long hold pasteurization. It's a lower temperature, longer time period, and that will get rid of any bad bacteria in the milk. And you'll have a consistent base then to make great cheese. So, Robin says, lemon juice is only good for what we call fresh cheese here in the Czech Republic. Yeah, lemon juice is only good for those fresh cheeses. Nolan says, how would you adjust your brine time when doubling your Asiago recipe? Would you double the time from 10 to 20 hours? Yeah, because the size is bigger. So based on the weight or the density of the weight and density of the cheese is how you determine the brine time, how much salt absorption. I don't know if there's a special formula because I only make small cheeses personally. But yeah, the bigger the cheese, the longer you brine it for. Have a look at those. I was watching a Parmesan video the other day based on, real Parmesan. The cheeses that they make are massive. They're like 70 kilos, 60, 70 kilos of Parmigiano Reggiano. And they brine them for an entire week. So it's like 5 or 6 days that they sit in the brine. So they're massive cheeses. So the bigger the size, the longer it needs to be salted for. So, but yeah, it'd be a good rule of thumb. Try that 20 hours for Asiago if you've doubled the size. Patricia says, will there be another 12 hours of cheese this year, or did I miss it? No, you didn't miss it. I have delayed it at the moment, not indefinitely. I'm thinking that I haven't done the prep work. I didn't get time to do the prep, and it takes about 2 or 3 weeks to set up all the interviews for the 12 hours of cheese live that I normally do each year, and I just didn't get the time. I've been spending the time to do marketing as we're not getting many sales at the moment. It's a thing here in Australia. Consumer confidence is very low as interest rates are going sky high at the moment, and people don't have ready cash to spend on, say, cheese making and all the other stuff that we sell in the shop now, like the soap making, bath bombs, candles, all that stuff. They're not necessities of life. although I would say that cheese is one of the necessities of life. However, consumer confidence is down, sales are down, so I've been working a lot harder, spending half my time each week now just marketing. So to keep the sales at the level that we can pay the bills and all that sort of stuff. So that's the reason there hasn't been a 12 hours of cheese this year so far. So yeah. Anyway, I've been confronted by some doggos, so we may stop there. Tracy says Gavin is also on Instagram, so you can find him there. I've got about 22. You might have seen the little clock thing going on here. Got about 22,000 people on there. You can see a lot of shorts. People watch more shorts there. You can see that there's some doggos down here. Hello. Hamish, do you want to say hello before we finish the show? Oh, you want to get on, Bonnie. Oh, here we are. Bonnie wants to say hello first. She's a bit scruffy. She's getting a haircut on Thursday. Oh, she says hello to everybody. That's nice. Say hello again, Bonnie. Oh, you want to get down now. Righto. Hamish, come on. Come here. Come here. Oh, there he's such a big boy. All right, Bonnie. That's enough. Very vocal. Righto, that's it today for the cheese stream. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for watching this week. Don't forget that you can go and learn how to make cheese in a structured manner over at the Curd Nerd Academy. Go to courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. You can also buy all your cheese making supplies. We ship internationally. Over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au, we have a comprehensive cheese making section there. So go and check that out. Links are in the description below, of course. And if you want to buy any merch, like this amazing Curd Nerd, certified Curd Nerd shop, or aprons, or what have you, go and check out merch.cheeseman.tv. Thank you so much for watching this week. It's been fun. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and we will see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.